Okay, so Will sent me, it was a direct message. He says, I don't know what my niche is now. How do I find it and rebrand and market myself and get my work going again after post-pandemic burnout, midlife crisis, where all my various projects fell apart, ended. I've lost my clients, followers, and now I'm a different person. Well, shit. Will, where are you zooming in from today?
Hey Tad, I'm in the Alpujarras in South Spain, which is very nice.
Okay. Southern Spain. I've never been to Spain, but I hope to go someday. We'll see.
Oh, it's really nice. Yeah, I've been following you for a while, so I appreciate what you do. So I feel excited to get one moment.
Oh, good. Well, it's good to have you here. Okay. First of all, my commiseration, mostly. You'll be getting a lot of everybody. There's just lots of commiseration to go around in life. So this is certainly one of those moments, right? Here you go. You had a whole thing, you burn out. What the fuck am I doing with my life? The projects all fall apart. It's a blank slate, which on one level, hooray. On another level, oh no. So let's focus on the oh no side of it, because the hooray tends to handle itself and it doesn't last very long anyways. Okay, so how does one find one's niche? The first thing is if for all of you, if you go to marketingforhippies.com/steps on my website and go to number 2, maybe I'll just do a little screen share so you can all see what the hell I'm talking about. You'll see there's a bunch of free stuff on niching, and I'll just sort of flag some of this for you that might be the most useful. So here's the page, just marketingforhippies.com/steps. It's the 5 fundamentals. This pyramid that you may be or may not be familiar with, but you'll notice we start with ethics, then niche. So the first fundamental is ethics, and you're going to see links to all my stuff on ethics, or at least all the public stuff. And then we got niche. So this is the area I'd go to here, and you'll see links below here on all the different stuff. Where is it? What? It's not here. Wow, that's terrible. Maybe I've unlisted it. Okay, well, anyways, there's a lot of resources around niching that can just help get your mind framed properly on it. But also, when I do my puttering sessions, this is the thing that comes up all the time. Almost everybody who books a one-on-one session with me, it's about niching. And these are the exercises I give them. So this is where I would start. So marketingforhippies.com/puttering prep. And you'll see a number of, it'll walk you through step 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a little thing on niching fears here. So feel free to dig into that just as resources outside of this. But I'd be curious to hear from you. Do you have any sense of what your niche is at this point, what you're wanting to move into?
Probably helping people who go through what I've just been going through, I think.
Right, your whole world is falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, I was already interested in the trauma stuff. So, initially I was holding dances, and like ecstatic dances become this huge thing, but I was doing that already for like about 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But what I found was that people were getting very like dysregulated and like seeking to get high, but actually it wasn't very trauma informed. And now like it's like the trauma thing is super important. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I need to do some more training, but meanwhile I need to work, right? And it's kind of because it's been such a long time since I've kind of like held an event or gigged, I've lost, like if you disappear for too long, people forget about you. And yeah. And also like, I don't know, I'm not even sure. Like, I think because I became so, what's the word? Like in my cave, I just wasn't really, I was scared to go back out there. Right. And so I kind of want to, but I'm also like, oh, maybe it's just done and I'm meant to do something else. And I just feel quite confused.
I I get it. I
I
get
miss
it.
it. It's almost like a relationship that you can't quite break off, you know? It's like
Sure.
um
Well, and sometimes we don't need to break off the relationship, but the relationship needs to change. The parameters need to change. So a couple thoughts. One is I'm wondering if you could do a sort of dance temple, ecstatic dance that's trauma informed and make that the thing. Say, look, I've done this for years and I want to do it differently now. So this is, you know, dance temple for people who want this flavor. You know, people who find the other kind of dance temples too overwhelming. I could imagine a
mm,
lot of people being drawn to that. I could imagine a lot, you know, so then you're taking the thing that you're already good at, that you already have this experience, but now you're offering it in a different way, you know. So that one thing I might do is just sit down and just as a thought experiment, at least to say, if I were going to redo it, knowing what I know now, how would I change the format? Like, how would I start it? How would I end it? What would the rules and agreements be at it? How would I frame it at the beginning? You know, all of that stuff just to see, because you may find, oh, I suddenly have something I'm really excited about and I want to do. And my guess is there would be a good response to that. That there would be a lot of people who would say, oh my God, thank God, I've just found those things so overwhelming. That's one. Um, Number two, on this, yeah, what do you do when your whole world falls apart? This is an exercise I'd recommend to everybody. Um, is you know, there's that notion that our deepest wounds are often a doorway to our truest niche. The things we have struggled the most with and overcome, that's often the best direction for our niche, especially in the healing arts, anyways. And but one of the things we can do to come up with an offer is we think, okay, when I went through that, what was I needing? And design the thing that you needed when everything fell apart, when you had the burnout, the midlife crisis. Like if you met somebody and they say, oh my God, you're going through this, look, we've got this thing. It's going to help you go through that or help you recover from it or whatever it is. Like, what's the thing you were needing a year or two or three ago? And just try as again as a thought experiment, just design it. You know, I went through an accidental overdose in 2013, just partying too much, you know, the wrong stuff. And I got interviewed by my friend Day Schildkret, who wrote a book called Morning Altars. And he was writing a book that's already come out called Hello, Goodbye, about ritual. And so he was asking a lot of people who've gone through really intense things, what's the ritual you wish somebody had designed for you? And when he asked me, I just thought, I don't know. Like I just hadn't had the thought. But as soon as I started thinking about it, you know, I probably talked for 40 minutes nonstop. It's like, and then I would do this, and I would do this. Oh my God, this would have been amazing. And it was all there because, you know, I could look back and see what I was needing. And maybe I couldn't have at the time, but looking back, it's like, oh, if somebody had done this and this and this, it would have felt so good and I wouldn't have felt ashamed. And you know. So for both of those, I would just consider designing the thing that you can see is needed now from the vantage point you have. And then it's a matter of you might just put it out and you know, there's the idea of the beta test. Like everybody, before you buy a farm, start a garden. Before you start a garden, get a tomato plant in your house, see how it goes, you know, start small. And so with something like this, I might invite you to just start tiny. Say, look, I just want to do one of these dance temple things. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know if there's a response to it. I'm just trying it once. Please spread the word. If you're interested, let me know. And you just see how it goes, you know, and then you could try it twice. Or you could, you know, or and then with the your life fell apart thing, you could just say, I've got this idea of I just want to have conversations with people whose lives fell apart, you know, and how did you rebuild? And just have a lot of interviews, a lot of conversations. That can be a little niching project. And then that could turn into, I'm just going to do something in my living room. Anyone who feels like this resonates, come on by. It's just free or by donation in my living. You can do that. Or it could be a 90-minute webinar. It could be you know, you just start very small. You see how it feels, see what the response is. And then take another step, because you'll have more information at that point based on the response. And even as you start thinking about it, moving towards it, other things, bits of clarity will come, other things from the universe start to appear. And so that's what I'd say.
Can I ask you something in relation to this?
Sure.
Because I actually had something that I was starting to develop that was like my own thing actually, which I felt really excited about. But then I felt like I don't know, some imposter syndrome stuff came up, because it's like, well, I didn't train in this thing. This is like something that I've invented that I still feel good about it. I still feel like, oh, this is something really unique, and it's like a different kind of movement class that does kind of tap into these things that we've been talking about. But how can I be taken seriously? Like, how can I present that in a way that is like, you know, because I blatantly have made it up, but it's like I have studied stuff as well, so it's not just, you know, nothing.
Okay, this is a good question. And just for everybody, guess what? It's all made up. Gabrielle Roth made up 5 rhythms. She just made that shit up. This was not on the tombs in Egypt. This is not the received wisdom of the ages. The work of Byron Katie. Who the fuck gave her permission to come up with it and call it the work? Nonviolent communicate. You know what I'm saying? It's all made up. It's all made up. Somebody started at some point. So that's the first thing. You're in good company if you made something up. And the important thing is that you don't promise, you just don't say it's something it isn't. You know, if somebody's like, why should I trust you? You probably shouldn't. I just made this up. I don't know. It's just starting. I don't know. But if it seems like a good idea, you come on by. There's no need, there's no need for pretense in any of this. We just tell people the truth. It's like, this is something I've come up with. But this is also where the point of view marketing comes in. Because I'm being a little bit flip. But we just make the case for the logic. Look, I've come up with this thing, and I'm doing it in this way, and here's why. This is my thought process. Let me show you the math of how I ended up here. It's my own math, but you can check it out yourself. This is my take on it, And then people resonate with the point of view or they don't, at the end of the day. But if they don't buy the point of view, they're not going to buy the product. If they don't buy the concept, they won't buy the course. So the need to be clear about just here's how I've come to this conclusion. Like, here's the conclusion, and here's how I arrived there. And then if that resonates, come on by.
Would you recommend like working with like a copywriter or somebody who's good at getting something into like distilled, like this is what it is form?
Eventually, but not in the beginning. For now, just let it be shitty. But here, I think if you go to marketingforhippies.com/salesletter, I believe that's correct. To cut and paste that, but there's a 16-point outline of a sales letter, and so that this can be sort of some handrails that you can hold as you're crafting something and writing it up. So that's one thing I'd recommend for folks as you're designing something new. The process of writing the sales letter is very helpful because it'll just bring your attention to things, even from a design standpoint of what you're putting out. That's like, oh, I'd forgotten about that. I need to add that in. The other thing I recommend, and this is full kudos to Tom Poland, who wrote a fantastic book called Leadsology. And so this is from that book. I've tinkered with it a little bit, but this is a way you can give yourself a self-assessment on the 10 things people really want in a service-based offer and the 4 things you should want for yourself. But, whenever people are buying something from us, the big determination they're making is, how valuable is this for me? Return on investment, just straight math. I spend $1, does it get me $1 or more of value? But it's not just value as a broad thing. There's 10 things I would say. One is it relevant? Does it give them a transformation that's relevant to what they're wanting? Right. Number 2, is it a measurable transformation? Because anybody can say, yes, this will make your health better, and this like, well, how much better? Are we like, Can you quantify this? You'll sort of feel it, maybe. And it's not that compelling. So is it measurable? Is it a significantly better transformation? Because you could also say, we're going to help you gain 1 pound of muscle every year. That's measurable, relevant, but extremely not compelling. Anyways, there's 10 of those things. And if you click on this, okay, you can fill out a little survey. It's not going to give you an answer. There's no, homework that comes from this, but it will send you a copy of it. But you can just rank yourself from 1 through 10, and then take the results you got, and then you say, okay, shit, this is not a significantly better transformation. It's like a 3. Okay, well then that's got to improve, or you've got to make the case for why that's not there. Yeah, so anyways, you can just see where your offers are strong and weak, which is important. Because if your numbers are like 2 all the way down, the problem is not marketing. The problem is you have a shitty offer. Yeah. And if it's 10s, then your marketing can be kind of lame and it'll probably still work. And if you have good marketing plus a good offer, you got it made. Anyways, there's a resource. And on the value slider page, you'll see there's all these questions. And plus there's a couple of videos at the very bottom. Which is one video, me talking with George Cow, where we're just walking through this process. Anyways, and there's a bunch of other videos. So those are the resources I would suggest to take some next steps and start designing something that has a solid chance of working.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome.